Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we shall be discussing NASCAR. Now, when it comes to NASCAR, we shall be discussing the NASCAR playoffs, because NASCAR is currently on a break right now due to the Olympics. But once the Olympics is over on August 8th, you will see NASCAR return, and it'll be back at the Glen. But it's only another month before the playoffs start. Now, this past weekend, Eric Almirola surprised everyone by going on to win at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So what does that mean for the playoffs? We're going to be taking a look at the 16 drivers that are currently into the playoffs right now, including 3 drivers that have not won yet. Yes, that means 13 drivers have won this season, which is absolutely impressive. Even though Kyle Larson's dominated this season, I'm very surprised that Kyle Larson is not the regular season points leader. Kyle Larson still dominated, and there's still 3 spots open. Now, in terms of the guys looking out, besides one person, it's basically for everybody else, it's a must-win, like Eric Almirola. I mean, it was already a must-win, but Eric Almirola just made it a whole lot worse. So, without further ado, let's get into the NASCAR playoffs, and let's talk about the 16 drivers that are currently in right now. And then after that, we will take a look at the drivers that are outside the line and see who will be able to make it when it comes to the playoffs for 2021. So next to me right now is the current 16 drivers that are in the NASCAR playoffs. Kyle Larson is right now on top of the playoff standings if the playoffs were to begin right now, because Kyle Larson has 4 wins, but not only does he have 4 wins, he has 12 stage wins. Kyle Larson has the most stage wins out of anybody. The next best person is Denny Hamlin with 5. And Denny Hamlin does not have a win. So technically, if 3 drivers were to win, the remaining 3 new winners were to remain that are outside the top 16, Denny Hamlin would be the first driver out. Imagine Denny Hamlin not making the playoffs. That'd be very shocking considering, but I don't really think that's gonna happen. Mark Truex Jr. is in second with 3 wins and 4 playoff points. Third is Kyle Busch, who has 2 wins and 4 playoff points. Denny Hamlin is fourth right now with 0 wins, but he has 5 stage points. Chase Elliott is in 5th. Chase Elliott's in 5th with 2 wins. William Byron's in 6th with 1 win, but he has 3 stage wins. Alex Bowman has 3 wins, but right now he would be 7th considering he has no stage wins. So that'd be a very disappointing thing. And then the rest of the drivers basically all at 1 win. That's Logano, Blaney, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, and Eric Almirola. Bell, McDowell, Almirola don't have any stage wins so far, so they would not be able to pick up any playoff points going to the playoffs for 2021. So yeah, going through back of that, Larson's in, Truex is in, Kyle Busch is in, Hamlin is not in, Chase Elliott's in, William Byron's in, Joey Logano's in, Brad Keselowski's in, Ryan Blaney's in, Christopher Bell's in, Michael McDowell's in, Kurt Busch is in, Eric Almirola is in, and then the 3 drivers that are actually not locked into the playoffs right now, as you guys can see next to me right now. If you guys see them in white, that means they're not locked into the playoffs. That'd be Denny Hamlin, who is 283 points above the cut line. So unless 3 drivers out of the top 16 were to go on to win the next 3 races, Denny Hamlin's basically locked into the playoffs. I mean, 283 points. Imagine somebody trying to make up 283 points within the space of a month. That'd be absolutely impossible in this day and age, and with the stage racing that's going on around this time. Kevin Harvick is in 15th. Kevin Harvick was one of the most dominant drivers last year, and to see Kevin Harvick 15th, and not only 15th, he's not even close to Denny Hamlin. He's at 82 points above the cut line, which is still a good amount of points above the cut line. But 82 points and 0 wins. Eric Almirola has more wins than Kevin Harvick does this season. That is absolutely shocking from who I would probably say is the leader of that Stewart-Haas organization ever since Tony Stewart did retire. Kevin Harvick is the guy that has the most championship. He has 1 championship, but he still is their lead driver when it comes to the whole Stewart-Haas organization. And to see him have 0 stage wins and only 82 points above the cut line is very interesting. But then the next driver we're going to be talking about, Tyler Reddick. Now, I know Tyler Reddick is definitely a good driver. He is a 2-time Xfinity Series champion. After he won the 2 Xfinity Series championship, he came with the drive the number 8, replacing Daniel Hemrick, who went down to drive for Joe Gibbs Racing. And Daniel Hamlin, I want to say, has been improving himself in the Xfinity Series. He just hasn't gotten an Xfinity Series win so far yet. But Tyler Reddick is currently 5 points above the cut line right now. Who's behind Tyler Reddick, you might ask? Who is in that 17th spot, 5 points out of the playoffs for NASCAR in 2021? Well, here are the drivers that are currently outside the playoffs right now. And you guys see it right there. 17th place is the other RCR car of Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon was actually in the playoffs before New Hampshire, before Eric Almirola won. So if Eric Almirola hadn't won in New Hampshire, Austin Dillon right now would be in the playoffs for NASCAR 2021 season. But after Austin Dillon, is everybody else behind him is a must-win. Is a definite must-win. Chris Buescher in 18th has a stage win, but he is 121 points back. He's more points back than Kevin Harvick is ahead. That is not good for Chris Buescher. Next is Matt Benedetto, who is 143 points back. Ross Chastain, 1 point behind him, 144 points back. Bubba Wallace, 170 points back, but I think that's due down to the terrible start of the season that Bubba Wallace really had at the beginning of the season. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. only 2 points behind Bubba with 172 points back. Daniel Suarez, 195 points back in 23rd. And then Chase Briscoe, the third best. I probably would have said if it wasn't for Eric Almirola winning, he was the second best Stewart-Haas racing car, but he is 219 points back. So what does this mean for all these drivers here? It's all depending on one race. And it all depends on the last race of the season, the regular season for NASCAR, Daytona. If none of these drivers are able to win any other races that in the next coming days, that includes Watkins Glen, that includes Bristol, the next 2 races, it's all going to come down to Daytona and the final week in August. Because if one of these guys wins that race, they are fully locked in. And you know what that would mean? That would mean Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon would be out of the playoffs and not have a very good chance of making the playoffs because they have no chance of catching Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is, 77 points ahead of Tyler Reddick? And that means Austin Dillon is, 82 points back of 82 points back of, well, I just really said it, to be honest, earlier. Is 82 points ahead of Austin Dillon. That means Austin Dillon basically needs to at least get some stage wins, or possibly some stage points, and get a win in Daytona or one of the races before that in order to actually lock himself in. Because, like I said, if one of the guys outside the top 16 were to win, Austin Dillon is for sure out. Tyler Reddick is for sure out. Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin will be locked in. I see Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick getting the win within the next 1 or 2 races, whether it comes to Watkins Glen or Bristol, just because those guys are just really, really good at what they do, and they're one of the top performers in their team. So I expect these guys to be actually locked in, and I think it's going to come down to between the 2 Richard Childress cars for this last spot. So if I had to say who gets that final 16 spot in, I would say due down to the experience that he has being in the playoffs before and like how long he's been in NASCAR, I'm going to say the final guy that gets that 16 spot. Denny Hamlin is going to be in. Kevin Harvick is going to be in. The final guy that gets that spot. I'm going to shock you guys. I'm actually going to say we're going to have a surprise winner in Daytona. I'm going to say Chase Briscoe gets that 16th spot. And Chase Briscoe makes it 3 Stewart-Haas racing cars in the playoffs. Remember, 3 Stewart-Haas cars were in the playoffs last season. It was Cole Custer, Eric Almirola, and Kevin Harvick. This time, I think it's going to be Chase Briscoe that surprises everyone. I think his teammates are going to, if his teammates can, towards the end of the race, can get him a chance, I think his teammates will probably help him out and try and get him into the playoffs. That way, so Stewart-Haas has, a decent amount of teams in the playoffs. Now, can Chase Briscoe get out around the 16? We do not know. But in terms of the 16 drivers, I think they're going to be making the playoffs. I think it's going to be Larson, Truex, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Michael Medell, Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, and Chase Briscoe. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please smash the like button. I'll be posting more sports content for you guys to see in the coming days. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification so you know my videos go live. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys all later. Peace.